Your happiness isn't being stolen by the world, it's being sabotaged by your mind. Neuroscience proves it. Your brain actively works against your success every single day. But why? And more importantly, how do you break free from the self-sabotage? Here's the shocking truth. 6 toxic patterns are secretly destroying your relationships, your confidence, and your future, especially for women. These aren't just bad habits. They're psychological traps buried deep in your subconscious, part of what Carl Jung called the shadow self. The worst part? You don't even realize they're controlling you. Think about it. Every time you check social media or make an impulsive choice, you're feeding this hidden Carl Jung shadow, inside you a puppet master you've never met. It's quietly pulling your strings, making decisions without you being conscious. It gets scarier. Most women never see they're stuck in this cycle until it's too late. It's like invisible chains tightening with every self-sabotaging move. The longer you stay unaware, the harder it is to escape. But here's the good news. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn how to break free. I'll reveal 6 hidden toxic patterns holding you back and share expert women's psychology strategies to escape this mental prison. Stay until the end for Carl Jung's most powerful personal growth technique. It's transformed thousands of women's lives. Ready? Let's dive in. What if the behaviors you think protect you are actually destroying your life? Your mind creates blind spots that fuel self-sabotage, blocking everything you truly want, especially for women navigating these toxic patterns. You don't even see it happening. Carl Jung discovered this hidden part of you called the Carl Jung shadow. It's a psychological force holding every emotion, desire, and trait you rejected since childhood. Stuff you were told was unacceptable. In women's psychology, this shadow self-explains why we struggle with unseen battles. Here's the danger. Ignoring your Carl Jung shadow doesn't make it go away. It grows stronger. Picture a pressure cooker with no release valve. Every time you deny it, the tension builds. Sooner or later, it explodes in ways you never expect, sabotaging your personal growth. Your Carl Jung shadow isn't just some idea. It's actively controlling your decisions while you're clueless. Your conscious mind makes excuses, but the shadow self pulls the strings behind the scenes. What parts of yourself do you hate most? In women's psychology, those are the pieces shaping your relationships, reactions, and self-worth, all without you seeing it. Every childhood wound, it's running your life on autopilot, creating toxic patterns you can't shake. Here's the big realization. These self-sabotage cycles feel unbreakable because your brain hides them. Your mind is built to keep these painful truths buried, making personal growth a real challenge for women until they face the shadow self. Jung found one game-changing truth. When you make the unconscious conscious, your Carl Jung shadow loses its power over you. That's the path to freedom. But today, a new trap has popped up, one Jung never saw: your phone. The digital age feeds your shadow self like never before. Social media doesn't create these toxic patterns. It gives them new hiding spots. Every perfect selfie, it buries a part of you begging for personal growth. Every post that ticks you off, that's where your shadow self lives. Here's how your daily habits unknowingly reinforce the cycle. Here's how it works. Women check social media 76 times a day on average. Each time, your Carl Jung shadow hunts for likes and comparisons, deepening self-sabotage. Your Instagram feed, it's a mirror of your insecurities. The influencers you hate follow reflect your wounds. While you sleep, the shadow self maps out your next day. But you don't have to stay trapped. The first step toward true freedom is radical honesty about yourself. The moment you face what you've rejected, your healing begins. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how to do that. There's a reason you keep falling into the same traps. 6 specific toxic patterns silently wreck your happiness while you blame the world. Now let's break them down for women seeking personal growth. Listen up. First sign, you're hooked on external validation. Your mood swings with every like or comment. Dopamine from notifications turns into a real addiction. Your self-worth tied to a slot machine. In women's psychology, this hides your true self under masks for approval. Key point. Second sign, you dodge accountability. I had no choice is your go-to line. Responsibility feels heavy because it demands action over whining. These toxic patterns trap women in drama and blame, stunting personal growth. Here it comes. Third sign. Impulsive decisions rule you. Emotions hijack your brain daily, chasing short-term highs over long-term wins. Each choice deepens self-sabotage, costing you real fulfillment. Pay attention. Fourth sign. You tolerate disrespect. Your boundaries exist only in theory but collapse under the slightest pressure. You've convinced yourself you don't deserve better treatment than you receive. Each compromise of your dignity teaches others exactly how to mistreat you. Your excuses for others' poor behavior grow more elaborate over time. Picture yourself building elaborate cages while insisting you're perfectly free. Critical insight. Fifth sign. The fifth sign manifests as a persistent, comfortable denial. You actively avoid mirrors that might show uncomfortable truths about yourself. Constructive feedback feels like a personal attack on your fragile self-image. Your growth remains stunted because you refuse to acknowledge what needs changing. Your problems persist precisely because you refuse to see them. The pain you avoid facing now compounds with interest like toxic debt. Final warning. The sixth sign appears as chronic neglect of self-development. You prioritize surface improvements while your character remains undeveloped. Your potential lies dormant while you chase validation and temporary fixes. Picture building a mansion on quicksand, wondering why nothing feels stable. You compare yourself to others instead of competing with yesterday's version of you. Real growth for women means facing who you could be, not just comparing to others. What if those tiny phone dopamine hits are rewiring your brain against you? Your digital habits aren't just distractions. They're speeding up self-sabotage at a crazy rate. Social media gives women endless validation, chances our grandmas never had. Now, ask yourself, is your mind ready for that? Your brain wasn't built for this much judgment. Constant comparison spikes cortisol, hurting your body. In women's psychology, this trap hits women 37% harder than men online. Your need for connection becomes a weapon against your mental health. The gap between your online self and your real self widens daily. Each filtered image pushes you further from genuine human connection. And here's the most dangerous part. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between digital rejection and real-world danger. Scrolling Instagram, your brain reacts as if you're under physical attack. Your feed, a carefully curated reinforcement of your existing worldview. Like drinking poison that tastes like your favorite drink. But that's not even the worst part. Critical insight. Your digital persona is no longer just a tool. It has become a mask you can't take off. Tech companies employ thousands of engineers to hijack your attention. Algorithms actively reward victim narratives and manufacture drama because the strongest emotions drive the most engagement. And the consequences? Virtual connections increasingly replace deep, meaningful relationships. Your brain receives just enough social interaction to prevent loneliness pain, but not enough to thrive. Imagine a plant getting enough water to survive, but never to flourish. Final warning. Every minute spent scrolling is a minute not spent in self-awareness. Your digital consumption directly impacts your shadow integration capacity. Without conscious intervention, these habits reinforce all 6 foolish behaviors simultaneously. Your phone is either your greatest tool or your perfect prison. So, the real question is, which one will you choose? Breaking self-sabotage isn't a dream, it's real. Women have used these women's psychology tricks to change their lives, and you can too. Sarah was glued to social media. She'd check her phone all day for likes and comments. 10 likes made her happy, 0 made her sad. One day, her 5-year-old daughter said, "Mommy only smiles when her phone buzzes." That woke Sarah up. She deleted all social apps for 30 days. No Instagram, no TikTok, nothing. The first week was tough. She felt shaky, thought her phone buzzed when it didn't, and even had a panic attack once. But she kept going. Here's what she did. Step 1. She wrote down what she cared about, like time with her daughter or reading. Not likes. She stuck the list on her fridge. Step 2. When she wanted to scroll, she grabbed tea or played with her kid instead. She did this 5 to 10 times a day at first. Step 3. She stopped asking friends if they saw her posts. She talked about her daughter's drawings or book instead. After 30 days, Sarah didn't need likes. She laughed with her daughter without checking her phone. Her friend said, "You seem happier." She started a blog to help other women quit social media too. She felt good without anyone's approval. Maria blamed everyone. Work went bad, boss's fault. Date flopped, guy's fault. She'd say, "I had no choice" twice a day. Then a mentor asked, "What's the same in all your failed relationships?" It was her. She put a rubber band on her wrist and snapped it when she blamed someone 15 times some days. 6 months later, her boss gave her a raise for fixing stuff. Her boyfriend stayed because she admitted mistakes. Her daughter even started cleaning her room after watching Maria take charge. Jennifer's life was messy. She maxed out credit cards on shoes and takeout. She'd forget to call friends back. Then she made a rule. Before buying, she asked, "Do I need it? Can I pay for it? Will I use it?" She wrote answers in a notebook, 50 no's in a month. Her credit score rose 200 points in a year. Friends trusted her because she called when she promised. Her boss gave her a bigger job because she got steady. These women weren't special. They simply applied the principles you're learning now. They made small, intentional shifts, and those shifts changed everything. Your personal growth starts with one choice today. So, what's the first choice you're making today? You already have everything you need to break free from self-destructive patterns. Today is the day to change. The difference between wise and foolish women isn't talent. It's awareness and action. If you made it this far, it means you're truly ready for a breakthrough. That alone is your first step toward wisdom. You just unlocked the key insights. Jung's shadow concept shows you that unconscious patterns lose power the moment you shine a light on them. The 6 behaviors holding you back are now visible and fixable. You've learned practical, battle-tested strategies that transform foolish behaviors into wise actions immediately. Key point: transformation isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Even a 1% daily improvement compounds into a complete transformation in just months. If you believe in growth over perfection, tap to commit to your awakening. Your past isn't failure, it's preparation. Everything that hurt you has also given you what you need to break free. Just seeing these patterns puts you ahead of 90% of people who never notice. Now, the trick is to work with your shadow, not push it away. Those negative traits, they're hiding your biggest strengths. Your insecurity can turn into knowing who really supports you. Your impulsiveness can become smart, spontaneous moves. Your victim mentality can grow into a story that inspires others. Here's how to start. Aim for progress, not perfection. Pick one bad habit you want to fix. Do one small thing every day to change it. Not everyone will like this. Some people prefer you stuck in old ways. They won't clap for your new boundaries. But the right ones will stick around, and your real relationships will get stronger. Your future self is pleading with you. Don't wait another day. If you're ready to take control of your life and break old patterns, tap like, comment, "I'm ready" below, and share this video with someone who needs it for their personal growth. Your awakening starts with that first bold step.